Bezwada Wilson. Mr. Wilson is an Indian activist and co-founder and the national convener of the Safai Karmachari Andolan, an Indian human rights organization that has been campaigning for the eradication of manual scavenging. Manual scavenging, which has been illegal in India since 1993, unfortunately continues till today in various new forms. In June 2016, Mr. Wilson was honored with the Ramon Magsaysay Award. The issue of Safai Karmachari is one where we clearly see the interlinkage of caste, class, and gender that come in together, where a caste-ordained occupation is actually perpetuated by the neoliberal agenda. So I would request Mr. Wilson to come on and take the floor. He'll be speaking about the conditions of Safai Karmacharis in India.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry that due to the network, I was really suddenly got disconnected. And friends, this is a time when we are talking about the labor rights. And I mentioned in my earlier, I started about that. There are the elected governments that they have taken systematically the rights which we have got through the many struggles and many people who has lost their life to get the rights. That is then a very, very problematic in the democracy it is happening. And second important, the sector which I am also part of, that Safai Karmacharis in the country, mostly in the India, and we do have some information about other South Asian countries about the scavenging. Particularly in India, in 1993, the government has prohibited the practice of the manual scavenging. But till 2022, after the amendment in the 2014, despite of the Supreme Court judgment, still the practice is continuing. In the democracy, if we are unable to at least resolve the problem like making another human being to clean the human excreta, such a obnoxious, such a cruel form of the slavery, if we are not able to control or prevent or stop. So what is the meaning of we talk or think about the democracy? And how can we say that this is we are talking about the labor rights, but why it is not happening? Despite of the law, why the law enforcement agencies are unable to do that? Only very clear understanding is India, like the country and South Asian countries, we have a very big structure. We, as Baba Sahib Ambedkar said, through law, we are all equal. Or in the democratic setup, we do feel that we are all equal. But the truth is not as such, where they make the law, but the law enforcement agencies, they feel too very difficult to implement, or they are not in to implement certain laws, particularly with respect to the rights of the marginalized, Dalits, Adivasis, women, and minorities. This continuously happening. For this, there is another system, the system of the caste. The caste system, which actually makes any kind of a person, officer, bureaucrat, any person, they feel that if the scavengers are cleaning the human excreta, what wrong is there? They have born only to clean this. So why should we think? Why we want to stop that? That is there in the mind. The law says something different, but they hear something different and they understand something different. They want to continue the practice, the erstwhile practice, where they can make the human beings as a slave. We think about actually the democratic, the citizens, we are all equal, but there are the certain people, they think that they are the much more equal than others. And those people actually, they are there in the power and they are there in the bureaucracy. So they don't implement any kind of a law. And the sanitation workers in across the South Asia don't get the regular salaries at all. And all others are the fighting for the better wages and the bonus and arrears and some kind of a extra bursaries. But for the sanitation workers in many states and many countries, 3-4 months or 5 months, they don't get the salaries. This is just as usual earlier. In the judgment system, they feel that all untouchables, they have to work just like the free. So we have not changed our mindset. Only the system, we are saying that from the feudal society to we became the democracy. And in the democracy means not just in the name of the democracy. Few people got the power and they are sitting in the power and they want to rule everybody. That can't be the democracy. The true democracy is the labor who are all actually giving the sweat, who create the wealth for the any country, any nation. Those people must be participating in any kind of a democracy. That can be only then we can believe or we can say that vibrant democracy. That is not happening during the pandemic situation. They made the facilities for everybody for the protection. There is no water, there is no any other, at least drinking water. And they say that every half an hour you wash your hands. There is no water to drink. And they ask the sanitation workers across the country to come out and clean. We have given everything we closed. We closed everything. But there are the certain people, they must come and they have no any facility even to commute. In the hot sun they came and they given the service. Later they are not even recognized in any way. These are not just violation of the act or anything. This is actually the practicing of the modern untouchability, and they don't care about. And many women were also asked to come for the work in the early hours, or they have gone dropped in the very late night. So there is no any kind of a justice for the women in the sanitation sector, and they feel that this sector no need to be modernized as mechanized, because we have not mechanized. We have lost almost like in India, 2,000 people we have the data. Other Asian countries, we do have some kind of a data about the some hundreds of the people who lost their life, or we push them to the such circumstances where they will definitely lose their life in the manholes, sewer lines, and septic tanks. We don't care and we don't make any care. We do call that the smart cities, but we don't mechanize in the sanitation. You want to have the big roads, highways, 4 lines, 8 lines, 12 lines, and many, many names for all those things. And you want a big parks, you want a big flyovers. But when it comes to the sanitation, you can't even provide the proper utensils or the instruments which they can clean without the touching the dirt or the shit or the garbage. This is a completely a kind of a what, that is what I used to say many times, why we are not doing that. Why we are not, only reason is the shit in the mind, which makes all of us, most of the people who are there in the power, don't think that the democracy is in a way they have to provide the rights and everything, and the people must enjoy their power, their rights. There's no need to provide. They have to allow the people to actually enjoy their rights. There, that we have to clean the shit in the mind, and we have to make all the organizations like Sapan also made a remarkable thing to bringing all the voices together. So we need to facilitate such voices together. There should be some collaboration, and really we need labor of all South Asia, where there is a violation, where there is a discrimination, where there is a patriarchal value still continuing. All these places must come the labor, and they have to form then a democracy. That democracy only create and truly give the good ruling for the all the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. It appears that you're traveling. Perhaps that's why there was a loss of network. But thank you for sharing your thoughts on this. And it's absolutely essential to say, because what we see as manual scavenging is only taking new forms in the country. And we don't see an eradication, but it's evolving in new ways to allow for this kind of caste-based occupations to continue. What we call housekeeping in various private establishments, hospitals, things like that, municipalities, is nothing but a different form of manual scavenging that we are seeing. And like you say, 3-4 months are not paid. That they work for decades on end, but are treated as contract workers, as temporary workers, not allowing any form of social mobility. So it's a very serious condition of sanitation workers that we are seeing. And it is something that we must definitely all come together to fight against these structures that allow this to continue. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.